In this video series, we are going to be installing Release Control version 6.1. And in this section of the video series, we're going to be going through the installation. So in the installation guide, that is part 2. You can see that this has several different sections. We have the actual install of the framework files and applying those framework files into SBM, then importing the solution, and then finally promoting the process apps to SBM. So those are the steps we're going to run through today. The very first thing that we have to do is make sure that we have the right version of SBM running. So to install Release Control 6.1, you have to have SBM 11.0.11. So the easiest way to find out your version is to launch the configurator and then go down under Manage Settings, and then you can see it here under the Suite version. It says 11.0.11. So we've got the right version and we're ready to go. So we can close out of here, and actually that's an important part. You cannot have the configurator running while you do the release control install. So we'll close this. And I have already downloaded the release control installer, the README install files, etc. So we will launch the installer. Okay, when the wizard starts, just need to click Next, and you can read through the license agreement, then accept it, and say Next. If you want to customize the install folder, this is your opportunity to do that. And we'll say Next. Oh, this is a good reminder on this page. It is telling us that it detects on my machine that there is SBM application engine, repository, and common services are already installed on this machine, which is good. But the reminder here is that if you have these installed on other machines for load balancing or anything like that, you do need to run through the installer on those machines as well. So that is basically just running through this wizard on each of those machines. All right, so we're going to go ahead and click Install. Now the install does take several minutes, so we'll just wait for it to come back. Okay, so it looks like the install is complete, and once that's done, you just have to click on Configure. And that will launch the SBM configurator. Okay, so the thing that you'll notice in here is that we add a release control view or tab. And when you go here, you can read through this, but the most important piece is this URL in the middle, and we'll use that later. This is a link that goes out to the what we call the provider admin, and basically what that is an administration configuration interface that goes into the plugins. And plugins are how we do integrations with other applications. So that will become important later, and I just wanted to point that out. We're not going to use it right this minute, but we'll probably use it later in our video series. All right, the other important thing to do while you're here is to check the authentication. For release control to work, we do require that single sign-on be turned on. So if it's not already set, you can change it now. And once you're done, you want to click on Apply. Even if you do not change anything at all, you still have to click Apply to finish the backend configuration. After the apply has completed, we will want to start the services. So to do that, we'll go to Manage Services. And we use the IIS service. We'll start that one up. And then we use the Tomcat as well. And that will automatically start up a couple of the other services. And that is all we need to do in Configurator, so we'll close out of here. And the last step that we have to do to get the framework files into SBM is to log into the Work Center. This is an important step because behind the scenes we're going to import additional files from the framework into SBM. So we just want to go out to the Work Center login screen. And because of the import, it will take a couple minutes extra for the login screen to actually load. So if this takes a little while on your system, just be patient and wait for it to load. Okay, and when the login screen comes up, just go ahead and log in one time to complete the process. So now that we're able to get into SBM all the way, the backend portion is complete and we can move on to the next step. The next part is to import the solution into the repository. So for that, we'll need to go over to the repository, RLC, Mashup Manager. Okay. So we will log in here. And if you go over to the solution view, you'll see the release control solution itself. And what we have to do is just import it. This will take a second, and when it's complete, it'll show up at the bottom. All right, so that part's done. And next we will go over to the snapshot section and we'll promote the process apps out to our runtime. So we'll go over to snapshots. If you have a lot of snapshots, you can filter them by using this little source button up here and just saying that you only want release control. You don't have to do that, but if you have a lot, it's an easier way to see things. What we do is we're going to start at the top and come over and promote them. That's the center icon. On the first tab, we just click Next. On the second tab, it's important to click on the Merge Conflict box before you say Next again. And then we can just keep going next, 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 and then finally Promote down here at the bottom. And you can say OK. Now if you want to watch it go, you can go over to the Activities view and you can see that it's running. And if you just refresh this page, it will come back when it's done. You can also see the details of what's happening down in the bottom section. We'll wait for this one just so you can see it. When it says waiting, that just means that it's waiting to hear back from the server that it's complete. Okay, so now it's complete. So that is the process. And what we have to do is go through and promote each one of these. So I will just zip through these and promote them. And don't forget when you come to the entities view to select the merge option each time. And technically, you do not have to wait for the previous one to complete before you do the next one, but sometimes I like to wait, so you can decide. I usually start a couple and then wait for them and then start a couple more. Let's start one more. And we'll do our merge. Oh, let's just start one more. All right. All right, so we'll do the merge. And next, promote. Okay, let's wait for these few to finish before we start some more. Okay, those ones are done. Okay, our first few are finished promoting, so let's go ahead and start the rest. Say promote, next. Don't forget the merge option. Next, promote. All right, two more. Okay, we'll just wait for these ones to finish. Oh, those ones were fast. One more. All right, there we go. And we can just go over to the activity view just to make sure they're totally finished. Oh, they're just waiting for confirmation back from the server. Let's give that a second to finish. All right, so they're all done now. The next step that we have to do is generate some extra views in the system, and that is done from the command line. So we'll open command prompt, and we're going to go into our installation directory. This is our application engine bin directory. And we will type the command ttadmin.exe / generate views. And this is going to generate some SQL views for us. So we'll let that run. It will pop open the system administrator, and if it prompts you with this question, just go ahead and click on yes, and then it will complete and finish. Otherwise, it might just pop open the system administrator, run its job, and then close. So it doesn't always prompt you, but if it does, you can just click yes. Another alternative, if this part gives you problems, is to just restart IIS, because restarting IIS will generate the view also as a background job, so then you don't have to use the command line tool, so you can use that too. Okay, so after we complete the job and the extra view is generated, we have to deploy the release package process app one more time. So we'll just go and do that really quick. Promote. Next. And it will remember our merge choice that we had earlier. So we'll just go next, promote, and say OK. And we'll just give that a minute to finish. And then we will be on our way. Let's go to activities. All right, so it's running. We're waiting to hear back from the server for confirmation. Almost done. So that promote is now complete. So we are done now with installing the basics of release control. We've done the framework and we've done the process apps. So now you can actually see it in SBM. If you go back over to Work Center and refresh, now when you click on your drop down, you will be able to see release control in the system. So we have it here, and I like to give it a little star, and that will show it up at the top of your menu. So when you click on here, now you will have access to all of your different views, release packages, trains, approvals, etc. We don't have any data in the system yet, but you can see it in here. Okay, so the next video in our series, we're going to continue on with the configuration. In that portion, we're going to get the users ready and configured and give them permissions so that we can actually start using the system. All right, thank you.